Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in today's session. I'm Kavita Agrawal, the founder of EXP Invest. In today's Market Outlook series, we are starting with the same format. I will first discuss with you the chart of Nifty, Bank Nifty. We'll move on to the intersector analysis. And lastly, from 5:30 or 5:20 onwards, depending on when I'm done with my analysis, we will have an interactive session with the host, with the guests who are joining us on Zoom. And if their time remains, we will answer your queries from the stock request form. So if you have stock queries for me, make sure you're filling up the form that I am sharing in the comments with you, no matter which platform you're joining from. So we have a comment from Sai. He says, market on Monday is expecting to gap up. So let's go to the charts and let's see whether Sai is correct or not. So all right, now this is the screen and we will open the charts of Nifty. So as always, we'll start from our 3-minute time frame analysis. And today the charts are very interesting. There are lots of insights to be shared. So this is the volume profile. And what you can see is that this part of the rally, the first half of the rally, there was very good volume increase. Second half, not so much. And since we've started consolidating since the 10th of June, the volume has been pitiful. Today, something very interesting happened. Now, if you are noticing this white line here, this is the resistance of exactly 23,000 today. The market has broken out above it, created a new lifetime high. Why is this significant? Because since the last 2 trading days, or actually the last 3 trading days, the market had been resisting the level of 23,425. We saw openings above this level, but the market kept slipping. Today, it recovered, sustained, broke out and sustained above 23,425, making this a very important level. Also, you will see from this point onwards, even though this is the 3-minute time frame, from this point onwards, that is the second half of the market, we saw some volume uptick as well. Right? Taking a look at the RSI, on the RSI also, there was a breakout above the level or a little bit higher than that, 65, after a very long time on the 3-minute time frame. So the 3-minute time frame is obviously a short-term chart, but it gives us analysis, which it gives us indication of what can happen in the market in the next couple of days. That is the starting of the first half of next week. Now, the 15-minute time frame, as you can see, so this Elliott wave count is suggesting that the first wave has taken place and it's been a full 5-wave impulse wave, right? Now, this entire consolidation looks like the unfolding of second wave. Now, if you are aware of Elliott wave theory, what it states is if the underlying trend is extremely small, right, even though wave 2 typically retraces anywhere between 50 to 78% of the wave 1. If the underlying trend is very strong, then the wave 2 can be sideways. In which case, the wave 4, the correctionary wave 4, which will come after wave 3, will be a deeper correction because the nature of wave 2 and wave 4 usually differ. Right? Here, what we saw was when the resistance of 23,425 was reached at the end of wave 5, here we saw negative divergence, and since then we are seeing consolidation. Now, what is very interesting in my opinion on the 15-minute time frame is that even though price has just crossed above the high that it had forged in the last 2 days of around 23,475, the RSI has already started creating higher highs on the. So this is the 15-minute time frames analysis. Now coming to the 75-minute time frame. Now on the 75-minute time frame, let me stretch the chart out. One thing that is worrying me a little is the occurrence of this negative divergence on the 75-minute time frame. So the 75 and the daily time frame, actually, both these key time frames, larger level time frames, are showing negative divergences. That is a bit of a cause of concern. Here, if you again notice the decline in volume, the first leg of the decline actually happened against stronger volumes, whereas this leg of the has happened against weak volumes. That is what the 75-minute time frame is objectively showing us. So what we are seeing is that the intraday time frames, the 3-minute and the 15-minute time frames, are looking rather better, more bullish. 75 and the daily time frame are looking quite bearish. Why? Because the daily time frame here is also showing a strong negative divergence, and even the market has been scaling new highs, RSI has been very shy of coming above 60. Now, this piece of information I would take with a pinch of salt, and the reason being that when the preceding rally before the RSI starts consolidating at 60, if that rally was very strong, sometimes then RSI being a banded indicator means it cannot go beyond the level of 100. So there is only so much room that it has. What it does is for a certain period of time when the consolidation happens, or when the price is still moving up but not with as much strength, it can show signs of momentum weakness. This is one of the weaknesses of RSI, you may say. That we can excuse, but the absence of volume here is what worries me. My expectation was that the volume would return to market once 23,300 gets breached, but seeing that volume is not returning and there is the occurrence of there is the formation of this pattern here, this hanging man pattern, you can see that we've already seen a massive market crash, we've seen recovery, and now we are seeing these small doji style candles on the chart. However, again, this today's activity, if you see, we opened, we declined, we broke yesterday's low, and then we closed almost exactly where we opened, right? So perfect doji formed again. Now over here we have a much longer wick than any of the previous candles had. So in the previous 3 days, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so the upper wick over here, as you can see, was a lot bigger. This was bearish in nature. Yesterday we opened at high, declined all day long, and then closed with a little bit of recovery. Today we opened, declined, recovered, and closed, and we broke the resistance of 23,425, closing above the resistance. This closing above the resistance is what makes me bullish. Also, if you look at the list of stocks, the market has been doing really well on a stock specific basis. So what this basically means is the overall stock market right now is undergoing a sectoral churn. What I believe is that sectors of yesterday, which have done very well already, is not where you should look for opportunities for the future. Now, there are some themes which are going to be constant, obviously, because of a lot of involvement, a lot of push from the government. For example, railway, for example, renewable energy sector, for example, to some extent, infra reality, they are also going to be really good, right? But some newer sectors are going to emerge. For example, I strongly expect that IT is going to come out of a slumber, and most importantly, chemical is going to start giving a strong rally. So, more about sectors in a while. Let's first take a look at our Bank Nifty chart. So this is Bank Nifty. Again, we'll start from the 3-minute time frame. And here you can see this trend line that is there, which is a lot thicker than the other lines. This is where the Bank Nifty was initially showing a lot of resistance. Now that resistance has been overcome. And now this same trend line is acting as support. We can even adjust this a little bit lower in there, right? This is acting as support. So naturally the market support here, or Bank Nifty support, becomes 49,700 by that metric. If we look at the RSI on the Bank Nifty, not much activity there. Volume recovery was pretty good as long as the momentum was bullish. Since it's been sideways, volume has been pretty dry as expected. Coming to the 15-minute time frame, the 15-minute time frame is neither bullish nor bearish for the Bank Nifty. The reason why I say that, why I say it's not bullish, because when Bank Nifty rallied and retested back, came back to retest the same level price wise. So last time Bank Nifty was around this level, you'll see the RSI was doing really well it was way above the level of 60. And then what happened? Price has again come back to that level, but RSI is way lower. It is down at the level of 60 and below. So this is not bullish. It's not bearish per se, but it's not bullish. And why I say it's not bearish, reason I say it's not bearish is because number one, this reversal that happened, this happened with a pretty good RSI positive divergence. And within this consolidation itself, we've not seen the level of 40 get breached. So this overall does not look bullish nor bearish. It's a bit of a mixed signal. Moving on to the 75-minute time frame. Now again, 75-minute time frame allows us to get a little bit more perspective of the chart, and the Bank Nifty 75-minute time frame is looking bullish. Why do I say that? Because the last time that the 75-minute time frame showed a big correction, which was on the day of the election results, 4th of June, or the 2 periods prior to that, what you will see is that since a long time, Bank Nifty has been respecting the level of 40 on the RSI. This is clearly bullish. Now, this consolidation period that we are seeing over here, this bit of consolidation, we don't know which side the market is going to rally. And again, if you take a look at the volume, most recent volume here has been declining against rally. So lots of mixed signals, I would say, on the chart of Bank Nifty is unfolding as well on the 75-minute time frame. Now, next, let us move on to the indices chart. So this is the intersector index chart. And in this, we are seeing all the different sectoral indices plotted against in comparison to Nifty 50, Nifty 500. So from any day that we choose as day zero. So in this case, say I want to the day of 6th June as day zero, the beginning of 6th June as day zero. Since 6th June till date. Now, why 6th June? Because it excludes the movement of 4th and the normalization over 5th. So 6th June onwards, we've been seeing relatively more normal market activity. So since then, if we see, CNX Realty has come back into momentum. Consumer durables has come out of a slumber, and it's not often that we get to see consumer durables be one of the top sectors. And consumer durables and FMCG doing relatively better is usually a signal that the market is getting defensive. This defensiveness of the market is also very visible in the volumes that we are seeing, because even though prices have recovered, the volume recovery hasn't come, which means people are still waiting on the sidelines. And this is especially true for the cohort of retail traders who had joined the market very recently, who've been extremely spooked by this entire election day volatility. Auto sector, infra sector. Now, you can already see the rankings, so I'm not going to read the rankings. But for each sector, I'm going to tell you what I think which sector looks bullish and where you should avoid. So the realty sector, there are certain stocks where there's still a lot of opportunity. However, you have to be selective in that choice. Same goes for the infra sector. Is everybody's favorite stock, but be a little bit careful because for the short term, at least, L&T may not give the same level of performance it has been giving in the past. It may not receive that kind of attention that it had been receiving in the past. Why? Because some loss of momentum is pretty evident and loss of volume is also evident. However, the volume and momentum both have been picking up in lots of other sectors. Let's talk about them. Auto sector momentum is very strong, has already rallied, is expected to continue to rally because it is not close to the top at all. PSE sector has rallied a lot, showing negative divergences, losing momentum. Stock specific analysis is also suggesting that it is very risky to buy now. See, there might be some upside left, but if it requires you to take a bigger risk than the potential reward, it's not worth it. So be very careful in your PSE sector. Healthcare and pharma. Here again, I think there are opportunities coming in. Healthcare and pharma has already started giving a good rally, but remember, these are very cyclical stocks. Even within their cyclical rallies that they give, they take lots of correction or lots of swings. So pharma and healthcare are both very good as swing trading players, and I think entry opportunities have started to come back in these two sectors. Cyclical in nature, but very good for swing trading. And some of my best performing picks right now are IT sector or telecommunication sector. CNX commodity, I am not so bullish on. I am seeing some negative divergences there. Consumption and energy, again, not outright bullish on. So here I want to add a little bit of perspective for those who might be new to the stock market. When you're trading in the market, you want to buy stocks or you want to enter sectors that are outright bullish. Because remember, one of the three things can happen. Either the broad market is bullish, it's bearish, or it's neutral. If you keep your money stuck in neutral or bearish sectors slash stocks, you're not going to make money. So keep your eye out only for those sectors and those stocks where bullishness is outright, where it is compelling you to commit your capital rather than you committing your capital just for the sake of waiting for break even. That is not your goal. Stick with your goal. PSU, I'm not very excited about PSU. The bank chart are not looking exciting, mixed signals, not compelling, not a compelling investment story. FMCG, be very careful. I know FMCG has given sharp rallies, especially since the month of June, but I don't see that rally sustaining for a very long time. I am not happy with the kind of volumes or the kind of momentum that is unfolding. So I have been assessing FMCG stocks. I thought maybe we are looking at the beginning of a new trend, but this looks more like a retracement in the beginning of a bigger correction in general. So I am not very excited about FMCG stocks in general. So that's it about the intersector analysis. Let's now move to our guests who joined us on Zoom and see if they have any questions. So we've got some guests. We've got Sahil, we've got Nirmalji, Vijayji, welcome back. We've got Yashi, Manishji. So tell me, is there any question that I can answer for you before we move on to the stock requests by our audience members? Absolutely, Sahil. So which is the first stock that you would like me to look at? Happiest Minds? Let's go for Happiest Minds. I have the daily chart of Happiest Minds open, and Happiest Minds is actually one of the very interesting stocks right now, and I'll tell you why. Back between 2020 to 2021, Happiest Minds, now obviously this is a relatively more recently IPO'd stock, and since IPO it gave fabulous returns. Now since September 21, it has been consolidating and it has corrected around 50, right? Now, what I believe was that this was the unfolding of a major bull rally in this. And since a long time, the stock has created a strong base around the level of 770. And I think every time it comes around 770, it becomes very attractive for accumulating for a long-term perspective. Now, if you look at the daily time frame also, on the daily time frame, I think the stock has started to show positive divergence and is trying very hard to also move to the bull range. So from a long-term perspective, Happiest Mind looks very attractive. For a short-term perspective, I would start swing trading in Happiest Minds again when it sustains above the level of maybe either 960 here or the level of 1025, because those are the two key resistances that it needs to overcome. Until that happens, I would continue to, expect it to take support around the level of 770. And every time it comes to 770, I will definitely be one of the buyers in Happiest. So that's Happiest Minds for you, Sahil. Which is the next stock that you had? Nazara Technologies. So let's take a look at Nazara. Again, very good turnaround story. And here also I can see formation of a strong positive divergence, beginning of a new rally with wonderful volumes on the daily time frame itself. Going to the 75-minute time frame, so unfortunately the entry point is a little behind us. I would suggest you, are you holding current long positions or are you looking for making fresh entries here? Fresh entries. So for fresh entries, I would suggest you wait for a bit of a correction first, because right now the stock has already rallied pretty strongly. But if you notice here, the volume on each leg of rally, even though the volume is picking up, the intensity has been reducing. And this very last leg of rally has barely seen any volume pickup, correct? Also, there is this trend line, which is acting as resistance for the stock. Adding to that is this negative divergence. So, what I would expect in this stock. Now, if we go back and see, this stock has a tendency to showcase a negative divergence and then take a correction. So, I would set alerts, two alerts. One at the level of 40 on the 75-minute time frame on the RSI 25 period, another at the level of 30. So, first, the level of 40 RSI will get triggered if the stock goes into correction. My objective will be to come down to the chart again and assess the 15-minute chart and see whether or not it looks attractive. If the 15-minute time frame looks attractive, I might go ahead with accumulation in the stock, right? But if the 15-minute time frame does not look attractive, does not show positive divergence, or it does not show pickup of volume on price rallies, even small price rallies, I will wait for the level of 30 to get triggered before I start accumulation. But Nazara, in my opinion, has started a new bull trend and is a buy on dip candidate. You just have to wait for the dip. All right, Sahil, thank you so much for asking that question. Now, in the comments, I can see Nirmal ji has also asked the question. He has purchased Renuka Sugar. So let's open the stock of Renuka Sugar. So Renuka Sugar, again, strong rally unfolding, strong momentum established. And first, let's take a look at the weekly time frame. All right. So Renuka Sugar is one of those stocks which are better analyzed on the weekly time frame than on the daily and the 75-minute time frame. And the weekly time frame is also where your basis of decision making should actually happen on the stock. The reason being that this is a super trending stock and it's also a fast mover. So if you look at the 75-minute time frame or the daily time frame, typically you will witness that, hey, the stock has moved a lot, so let me not purchase it. From this support base of 40 rupees, it looks like the stock has rallied 30% from around 30% in just 2 weeks, which any typical person would think that's too much rally, stock is bound to fall, I will not touch it or not rally it. But what is interesting here is look at the weekly time frame. RSI suggests that the price has given a fabulous rally and already given a bit of a dip. What looks like a bit of a dip on the weekly time frame, if you measure the percentage, is a 40% dip. But I mean, look at how the stock moves. Its move is just so fabulous. The previous rally was 18x in a matter of around 3 years. And that 18x rally, after that 18x rally, the stock has taken a mere 40% dip from the top. Now it has created a base at the level of 40 rupees, touched the level of 40, which is the bull range support zone, and turned up with phenomenal volumes. The volume and the RSI combined are suggesting that this stock is very attractive for long-term investing. So, Dubey ji, your entry at 40 rupees is fantastic. Keep holding the stock. I am very bullish. In fact, you've made a close to perfect entry, is what I would say. Continue holding the stock from a long term perspective. My minimum target on Renuka Sugar at this point would be 67 rupees, which is its all time high. So I would sustain above the level of 58 rupees. You check back in with me for the next resistance level. Next, as for the stop loss, I would recommend that you maintain the stop loss at the level of around 46 rupees. So we have Vijay ji on Zoom with us, and he's asking for the analysis of Dixon and Simon. So we are going to look at that. But first, if you are attending this session and if you are interested in also joining the Zoom sessions and being prioritized for stock queries, then be sure to join my Telegram channel. Search Trade with Kavita on Telegram and make sure that you're joining the channel with the exact spelling, because as you can see, lots of fake channels operating. In this, on the day of the sessions, which is every Wednesdays and every Fridays at 5 p.m., I share the link on the event link from which you can register. Right? Taking a look at Dixon. So Dixon has, wow, fabulous rally gotten away. But let me just clean up this chart and start analysis from scratch. It's been a while since I looked at Dixon. And this is again a super trending stock, which means once it starts moving, it does not give you an opportunity to come on board. It will just keep going on and on and on. And such stocks are typically very good to purchase when they are undergoing correction. Unfortunately, most people get spooked because when super trending stocks fall, their falls are also pretty deep. or so it appears to the eye. If you look at it against the context of the previous rally, so this is a very subtle correction from a Fibonacci perspective compared to the rally that it gave early. 23 to 38% correction is very nominal, but on an absolute sense, if you see, it's a 60% correction. Anybody will think that the stock is down for the ditches, right? But the rally that has been unfolding, it's already gone 3x. So I want to use the Fibonacci extension or the projection tool, and I want to study. So this stock, let me try to increase the font size here to 20. So what I can see is Dixon has already reached the 1.618 times rally here. However, given the momentum and the trend line analysis that I'm seeing, the stock has just overcome the very first hurdle here. It has a long way to go. And over the long term, I would expect the stock to at least rally up to this level of 18,000. My next target on the stock would be 3.62x, that is 23,500, but 23,000 is a little too far-fetched, so I will stick with the target of 18,000. Why would I say I have conviction there? Because the volume has been pretty strong throughout this rally. Right? Now, if I had to purchase this stock fresh, and I'm guessing that Vijayji, you want to make fresh entry. Don't make the mistake of shorting this stock at all. You're going to get stuck badly. It's too risky to short this. You should always take a position where your risk reward ratio is favorable. Here, your risk is very high if you're shorting and you're not guaranteed at all. Nothing in this stock suggests this to be a good shorting candidate. It's a very good buy on dip candidate. Whenever the stock comes and tests the 20 EMA, I would suggest you take a long position in this, but absolutely don't make the mistake of taking a short position. And the reason I will also emphasize why. If you see the last leg of the uptrend that has unfolded here, just now the stock has also crossed above a key trendline resistance. Very good chance that the stock is going to now enter the accelerated rally zone, in which it will not even come back to retest. It may not even come back to retest the 20 EMA. So you don't want to make that mistake of betting against the trend. Let's look at Siemens also. Why do you want to short the stocks there? I mean, the entire IT sector is so bullish. The overall market is being very bullish. Is shorting your primary form of trade in the market? Don't plan your trading strategies on the basis of what you're hearing. Plan your trading strategies on the basis of what you're seeing on the charts. Always. What we hear creates biases. What we see on the charts, what we observe with our own eyes, creates objectivity. So always be on the side of objectivity. So Siemens, again, extremely bullish stock, extremely great target, extremely strong rally. My target of 80 rupees is almost about to be reached. Even though that is about to be reached, what I'm seeing is this last leg of rally, the rally which has been unfolding since after 4th of June, the volume pickup is not that great versus the previous rallies that we've seen. Very evident volume pickups there. Here, not that great. I mean, it has started to come up, but I would rather not buy the stock immediately. I would rather wait for a bit of a correction again and then touch the stock. So that's why you were judging. Now, Manish ji, sorry, Vijay ji, could you repeat that again, please? Again, if you're asking from a shorting perspective, I'm warning you, do not short this stock. In a short term, I wouldn't expect much correction at all. In fact, it looks like the stock can rally up to this trend line resistance, because if you can see, the stock is respecting the trend lines that I've drawn really well. 90 to 100 is where I would expect the stock to go, and then maybe if it takes a dip is where I would enter. I wouldn't enter the stock even here, though I can see there is potential upside because my downside is slightly stronger. Sure, Vijay ji. Manish ji, you seem to have a query. So you bought this stock today at 460. So right where it broke out above its support resistance zone and a key trend line. So I can see that there is a pretty important trend line right here. And this stock has passed above that with very strong volumes, which means your entry is pretty spot on. Maintain your stop loss at 446. The next resistance of the stock lies at around the level of 515, which coincides with this another important trend line. Very strong underlying momentum. And again, JK Paper is also a super trending stock, which means, see, it's a fast moving stock and it's actually a momentum player, but it looks like the beginning of a very fresh new uptrend here. So again, from a long-term perspective, JK Paper is a very good buy on dip candidate. From a short-term perspective, I wouldn't recommend anyone to make any fresh entries. And for Manish ji, specifically for you, keep holding the stock, maintain a stop loss at the level of 446, 447. And for the next target, as long as it can sustain above the level of around 525, I would expect the stock to rally all the way to this key resistance. I'm going to adjust this to interact with more key points from the past. And my expectation would be that this stock can rally as high as 660 rupees, purely based on the momentum, volume, and trendline analysis that I'm seeing on the chart. So that's for you, Manish ji. Thank you. So we have AG with us. So AG, would you like to call out your query? So I can see your query is with respect to HDFC futures. Now, mind you, I am not a futures and options expert, and I strongly discourage retail traders from taking that kind of risk. But since you're asking, I'm going to analyze the cash segment for you, not from futures perspective at all. And what I'm seeing is that the volume is a little bit mixed. It seems to be picking up, but sometimes it's picking up on the downside, sometimes it's picking up on the upside, which does not invoke a lot of confidence in me personally. Now, 50 was a key resistance here, which has been breached. But my problem with HDFC chart is that up to 1550, there were strong volumes. Since the resistance has been breached, the volume has declined. The volume is declining against rally, which does not make me feel very comfortable. So, and again, on the 75-minute time frame, you will see a big negative divergence unfolding here. And like I said, the Bank Nifty PSU, they both don't look outright bullish. So if it is not outright bullish, I am personally not interested in it, and I would not recommend you to put any long side trades. And again, I am only focused on long side trades, so I can't tell you whether you should go for short side trades. In my opinion, you should not do that, because this also does not look outright bearish. So because it's neither looking very bullish nor looking very bearish, I would suggest you look for better opportunities where there is some sense of position in the chart in terms of what trend it is going to take next. Sahil is asking, is it safe to assume that your watch list that was shared on Telegram has all super trending stocks? No, Sahil, absolutely not. If I only keep only super trending stocks in my watch list, then the volatility of my watch list is going to increase a lot, because super trending stocks, while they are very good as long as you're on the winning side, they are also terrible. They cut like a sharp knife when you're on the losing side. And as if you can get even 50% winning ratio in the market, you're doing a pretty good job. So my portfolio or my watch list, one thing that you can take for granted is that all the stocks are very strong from a fundamental perspective. But the overall watch list has a mix of large cap, small cap, and mid cap stocks. They are a mix of fast movers and slow movers, momentum movers, and super trenders. So as members on the Zoom meeting continue to ask questions, we'll prioritize. But since I've answered all the questions that were there on Zoom up to now, I will move on and answer queries which you members have asked which our other audience members have asked on the stock request form. So those who are new here, this is the stock request form. You just need to visit this link, expinvest.in/stock request, which you're seeing right above my head. And over here, you need to go on that link and fill up this form. Once you fill up this form, I get the list of all your queries and I go chronologically. So fastest finger first, don't be late in asking your questions. Rituraj has asked the question, and he says he's bought IEX. So I was looking at IEX today and I was very intrigued. Let's take a look again. So you're saying you've purchased at 168 and trading purpose, which means short term is why you've bought that stock. Now, see, IEX is a stock that I am personally very bullish on from the long term perspective. And why long term? If you look at the weekly time frame, very strong rally here. This rally has been corrected between 38 to 50%, which is very typical for a wave 2 correction to do. And now the stock has just today started to give a breakout with very high volumes, right? And since this base of 120, 121 was forged, the upsides are seeing good volume pickup, downsides are seeing absence of volume. So I expect that this stock can soon enter what I like to call an accelerate phase. So IEX is another buy and hold kind of a stock. So I just bought this today in my long-term portfolio, and I expect to hold it for the next 1 or 2 years at least. From a trading perspective, short-term perspective, let's see. You might have bought a little bit late from a trading perspective, or maybe a little bit early, because I would have recommended you to wait for a dip in the stock. The 75-minute time frame looks very bullish, and the 15-minute time frame looks not that bullish. So in the next week, maybe we can expect, if the overall market especially takes a bit of a correction, maybe we can expect to see some dip here. I would expect this stock to come back to retest at least 170. So I will recommend you use a stop loss at the level of 176. So this is Rituraj Ji. You maintain a stop loss at 176. If that gets breached, you re-enter the stock when RSI on the 15-minute time frame, RSI 25, it is very important. RSI 25 or 15-minute time frame comes back to the level of 30. That time it needs reassessment. So you can reach out to me and I can reassess it for you. Don't go into a blind entry that if level of 30 is triggered, I will simply go and purchase. That is not how it. Moving on, we have a request from Gurjeet. We will look at ACI for Gurjeet. ACI, I think it's a little bit late for you to purchase. And this stock, it does not have a very strong underlying trend. Like it tries to give a rally, but then it has a tendency to fall. Also, this level of around 485 is a pretty strong resistance. Moreover, on the daily time frame, if you see, the momentum was very strong when it gave a breakout above the level of 250. But that is again the problem with the stock like ACI, that it doesn't really give you an entry opportunity. You see, it came out of the resistance, but with a massive gap up. How will you make an entry here? And on the same day itself, it's created a long upper wick, which is again not very attractive. So on the smaller time frame, if you see beyond this opening candle and opening rally, not a lot of volume activity is visible. So this doesn't give me confidence. This doesn't give me a sense of conviction. So I wouldn't go with ACI. Now, Harsh had asked us to analyze. This was on the 12th of June. So we'll do it today because for today's session, I can see only 2 audience members have asked their questions. So Imagica 82 rupees is where you've entered and you want to know the long-term view here. Fantastic. So let's see from long term. I think Imagica is a very attractive stock to buy and hold for the long term. Why I think it's attractive? Because the rallies which have been unfolding up to the very, very last rally that unfolded, which got resisted at around 85, the volume pickup was very strong. When did the volume decline? When the correction started. That makes the stock a very good buy on dip candidate. And daily time frame, RSI is in very strong bull trend, positive range. The daily time frames RSI is in a very strong positive range, which again enforces my view. The 250 of the daily time frame has recently been tested and bounced back from. This test seems to have happened on the very day of action, 4th of June, that is, right? It has bounced back. And I think this is a very good buy on dip candidate from a long-term perspective. So now I want to draw some trend lines. And this is also turned around story. Let's just get rid of these extra lines here. And I also want to update my RSI to 25 period because that is what I like to use. All right. So this on this weekly time frame. So what I'm seeing is that very good, very, momentum respecting stock. This is very good trend line support resistance respecting stock. This is right. So I would expect that this stock in the medium term can rally to at least test this trend line here. So 130 would be the very first target. Now you see the very first target itself is pretty massive on this stock. However, if that trend line gets breached, then I would expect the stock to go into a bit of an accelerated rally. But as long as it is stuck in these channels, I would expect the to be respected. So let's mark these queries as done and let's move on to the query Aman Kumar for Zomato at one. Zomato, what a rally! What a rally! A beautiful rally. Not many people expected this, or actually, it was quite expected because what the stock is, what the company is doing. I mean, as a startup to become profitable, we've all seen Baiju, right? We are still all born by Baiju. Thank God that stock didn't like IPO. But anyway, so what I'm seeing is very good recovery. So Zomato actually has come to a stage where you can make fresh entry in Zomato. It is giving an entry opportunity after a long time now. So you've purchased the stock at 178. I would say you made a good move. You've probably purchased it on either 5th or 6th. So it looks pretty attractive. So I will assess Zomato and then we will come to Manan Patel's query. Awesome. So Zomato, like I'm saying, attractive for fresh entry, stop loss 170.5. Target, how do you assess the target for a stock which is into an exponential rally? You use trend lines and you use extended trend lines. So the first target on the basis of the momentum and the trend line here would be near this resistance of around 45. This is where I expect the first target to be. Risk reward very attractive. I think this stock looks pretty great. So I actually thank you for putting Zomato out. This is a stock that I was meant to track, but I'm going to set an alert and maybe tomorrow, if it or Monday, if it still continues to look attractive, my Trade Together program subscribers are going to see Zomato in their active recommendations. We have Manan Patel on Zoom with us. So welcome, Mananji. I don't think we've interacted before. You are seeking the query for Techno 1019 and you very good entry point, but the stock is very illiquid. And despite of that, it is slightly illiquid. I wouldn't say it's very illiquid. What I want to see is how much market cap does the stock have. So it's a small cap. No, it's a mid cap stock. Yes, it's a mid cap stock, 150 billion rupees. Very strong rally, strong momentum, and very strong volume participation as well. So I would expect this rally that is unfolding to continue. Having said that, how much? Up to where? So let's see if trend lines can help. Now, this is what I called an accelerated rally, because see, this is the initial trend line. This is what we are seeing in IEX also. Once this key resistance gets breached, the slope of the trend line itself changes. And the previous trend line slope can no longer capture the stock, which requires us to build new trend lines with new slope. By the way, that is a practice that I avoid unless absolutely warranted by the stock. So I'm going to clean up the old trend lines and I'm going to try to capture the new channels. So you see this new accelerated rally which is unfolding on Techno. The channel slopes respects the previous rally slopes which had happened before 21. Those are being respected. So that is actually a very good indication that the trend lines that we've drawn are pretty accurate. Now here, because the volume is quite strong, I would expect the stock to continue to rally. And my very first resistance is, I think, this very next trend line. So I would expect see, I'm not aware of this stock fundamentally. So I can't comment on the company's business model and market share, so on and so forth. Purely based on technicals, I would suggest, what I observe is 2700 is the target that I would hold out for the stock. And I wouldn't just blindly hold for the target, I would also maintain trailing stop loss on the stock. So currently, because this stock is yet to overcome this important resistance at the level of 1514, your stop loss on the stock will have to be the previous support level, which is around the level of 1100. Once the stock overcomes 45 as resistance, okay, keeping a little bit buffer, then I would request you, Mr. Manan, to check back with me for a revised trailing stop loss on this. Yeah. Now we do these sessions every Wednesdays and Fridays. So you're welcome to again join us on Zoom and ask the question, or you can simply fill up the stock request form. So we have Ramit, and he's asking for the analysis of Medanta. You bought the stock Medanta at 1175. Awesome. So let's look at Medanta. So rally unfolding, but volumes not very promising. Medanta is a stock that I actively swing trade in, and in the past it has made me a lot of money swing trading. But ever since it has created this resistance at 1510, I am not very comfortable. So I have deactivated the stock in my watch list, which means I still do observe it, but because the volume is lacking, even though the momentum sometimes looks pretty attractive, because sometimes the volume is not backing it, I am not keen on purchasing this. My Elliott wave count does suggest that we are probably in the unfolding of the fifth wave, but the fifth wave can be risky, not as risky as the correctionary ABC, but still risky. So I personally don't prefer a lot to purchase or participate in the fifth wave unless it is a very compelling wave unfolding. This is not very compelling. That being said, you've bought at 1175, which means your position is in pretty good profit. So all you have to do is maintain trailing stop loss at this point. Now, very short term perspective, lately some volume pickup is there. Again, not compelling enough to make fresh position for anybody. But for you, I would suggest you maintain stop loss somewhere here. 1263 is where you should maintain your stop loss, and your resistance, or the next resistance that you should look out for, would be 1432. Right? What do I mean by next resistance? When the price overcomes this level of 1432, right, that is when you will look for a trailing stop loss. And what is the target? 1500, 1509. This is the GTT order that you should have preset, that if the stock goes there, you want a profit to be booked, right? Ideally, what I do is, if the stock has achieved or overcome the very last resistance right before my target gets achieved, if the momentum is looking strong, I will revise my target. But if the momentum does not look strong, like here the volume is not coming up and the RSI is already gone extremely overbought. Now, if it starts, say, creating negative divergence, that means the momentum is also weakening, then I will not change my target. Right? So you keep your target somewhere around 1500 or 1495, but your next resistance will be 30. Now, for everybody who's with us here, I want to give you a small reminder that if you are interested in learning swing trading from me, then you can hop over to my Telegram channel, and here you will see this post. So this talks about, let me just open this message here. So this is basically an offer that is going on my swing trading program, training program. If you want to learn swing trading from me, if you want to learn the system, if you want to learn how to create a watch list, how to set up your GTT orders, how to set up alerts, how to study momentum, volume, so on and so forth, you are welcome to join the third batch of my advanced swing trade training program, which is due to start from 3rd of July. I am running an early bird offer right now. So all you need to do is visit this link. So I will copy this post link and I'm sharing it in my Zoom call, and my team will share it on all the other social media. platform. So my swing trading plan, I am sending you the link to this post. You can look at this post and use the discount code, so on and so forth. So I'll request my team to please send it on the other social media platforms so all the attendees can get access to this idea. So for Manish ji, we will last take a look at Geo Finance because I can see we are a little bit over time and the second batch, the 19th class actually starts at 6 p.m. So I'm going to have to wrap up. Now, Geo Finance is a stock that from a long-term perspective looks really attractive to me. From a short-term perspective also, I can see RSI 75-minute has created a positive divergence. So same like Zomato, this is also a stock which does not give a lot of entry opportunities, but is giving an entry opportunity right now. Your stop loss would be at the level of 334, which is around 6.5, almost 7%, a little bit steep in my opinion. I personally wouldn't trade the stock from a short-term perspective. I would instead choose to buy the stock here from a long-term perspective because the short-term target, it's not possible to set a target above the level of 393. That means the risk-reward ratio would be very close to 1-on-1, which is not enough for me to risk my capital. I want at least 3 times target of the risk that I need to take on any position to justify taking that position, right? So yes, again, this target definitely gets enforced even with the trend lines 395, which makes it not so attractive for the short term. With that, we come to the end of today's Market Outlook series. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope I was able to teach you something new, share some fresh insights about technical analysis or the broad market. On an ending note, I want to emphasize that the overall trend of the market is very attractive. I believe strongly that the next 10-15 years is the golden era in India, and the Indian stock market is the golden goose. You don't want to miss out on these opportunities because the regret is going to be unbearable 10 years down the line. So stay invested in the market. Even if you're doing short-term trading, do it with a long-term vision. Staying in the market is what is important. Managing your risk is the key. Proper allocation is how you succeed. All right. I will see you again on Wednesday. Don't forget to join my Telegram channel to connect with me on the interactive sessions on Zoom. Thank you so much for giving me your time and attention. Thank you.